So now let's look at the Realist Property Detail Report. I can access this report by either going directly into Realist or by starting in Matrix. I'm going to go ahead and start in Matrix and pull a listing. And as mentioned previously, you can access that report by clicking on the Realist icon in your Agent Single Line display, by going into the listing and clicking on the first Realist icon on the top, or by going to the tax ID in the listing and clicking on that. Let's do that. So we pull the property detail report, and on this report we see the owner, the owner's mailing address, whether or not the property is owner occupied, location information, including flood zone information, the legal subdivision name. We see certain tax information, including a link to the property appraiser site for the county this property is located in. We can see the valuation information, the just value according to the property appraiser site, the assessed value, which factors in the Save Our Homes cap or any caps in assessment per state law. And this goes back 3 years. We see the exemptions on the property and the total exemption amount, and then the total taxable value, which takes the assessed value and subtracts any exemptions. We can see the tax amounts for the past 3 years. And then we have a link to the county treasurer site to see if this property is up to speed on its taxes. And we see that there is, in fact, a balance due for this particular property. We have a characteristics section with some basic characteristics such as bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, construction type. An estimated value section. The estimated value is a tool called the Real AVM Value. It's an automated valuation model. We need to take these with a grain of salt because we're not quite sure how these were developed and it might be missing some very important characteristics. But we can see what the estimated value is. We see a range of value along with a confidence score and a forecast standard deviation. Now, according to the notes below, the confidence score is on a scale of 60 to 100. So if we see a confidence score in the 60s, probably not very strong. In the high 80s, low 90s, and above, that's much better. And 82, pretty much middle of the road. And the forecast standard deviation tells us the percentage range above and below the value that this range falls. In this case, 11% above, 11% below. We have a listing information section where we have information from the previous MLS listings. We have the current active listing, the listing from the last time this property sold, and a listing from a few years back when this property was withdrawn from the MLS. We have information on past sales, going back quite a ways. We see the sale date, the sale price, the type of deed, and the seller and buyer's information. And in many cases, we also have hyperlinks to the actual deed. And if we don't have a hyperlink, we at least see the number where we can go to the clerk of court site to pull that deed. Then we have the mortgage history, not necessarily the current mortgage balance on this property, but a history of when a mortgage was taken out on this property from either the current or past owners. So this is the property detail report. On the top of the report, we have the ability to print. We also have the ability to launch the full set of Realist reports, launch a comps report, which we'll look at later, or a neighborhood report, which we will also look at later. But now let's go back to the listing, and let's see what happens if we click the second Realist icon with the full set of reports. When I click the second Realist icon, I, number one, come to the same property detail report. But before I do that, it's launching the property on the map, so I have to actually go into the reports. So I check this property off, click View Reports, take into the property detail report, but there's some additional information on top. A thumbnail from the MLS if the property is currently or if it has been listed. And also in this report, I have the ability to modify or do a customized print, save, or email. So on the bottom, if I come to modify, I can take sections out of the report. Maybe I want to remove the owner's name. So if I take out the owner information, come back up to the top, that information is gone. Want it back in, I can put that information back in. So if I do not want to send this full report to my customer, but maybe take out some sections, I can do that. When I print, save, or email, I have both a quick and a customize option. A quick print just prints this report, this page. A quick save just saves this report. A quick email just emails this report. But for any of those, if I say customize, I can actually choose the various reports in Realist to print along with this report, or to save or to email along with this report. So now we'll explore some of these other tabs in Realist, the comps tab, the market trends, and so forth and so on.